Carnivore live stream. I'm really excited to bring Audra back on to the show, and we're going to talk about holiday carnivore menu ideas, and try to help you work your way through the holiday. So today, I guess we're going to talk about like the specifics of the food, the recipes, the menus, and then next week we're going to talk about strategies for dealing with the holidays. I think there's sort of like three basic strategies. Are you going to stay carnivore? Are you going to go keto? Or are you going to eat whatever you want and just get back on track right after? And each one of those has, its pluses and its minuses. So we'll talk about that next week. And, and you can kind of figure out what you're going to do. But we have like a presentation today. So let's start working our way through it. So let's see who's here. Hey, Mr. Bogglesworth, it's great to see you. Leonard, it's great to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Let's see. Leslie, hey, welcome. Good to see you. Wow. So, yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of people who are, definitely interested in, like what to cook and how that goes. Oops. Now I'm messing up my whole presentation here. So I got to say that Audra, put together this content, and it's pretty awesome. I think she had some great ideas, certainly more inventive than I have. And if you want the presentation that we go over tonight, there's a link in the description. If you sign up on our email list, on the Black Carnivore email list, you will get it emailed to you. So, without further ado, let's just dive right in. So, yeah, hold on.
All right. Well, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Happy Veterans Day for those of you that served. And so we should just go for it, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay. So let's do this.
Uh-huh.
Well, all right. So I know that whenever I host a holiday meal, I am more focused on hosting like this phenomenal meal more so than a traditional one. I just don't think that, I do traditional meals. I'm kind of known for having these epic eating events that may not necessarily involve tradition. And for a long time, I didn't do that because I was so afraid that I would take away someone's memorable Thanksgiving, or holiday. But remember, at least pre-pandemic, a lot of people would go to like have Friendsgivings at like their offices or their churches or whatever. So they can get all the traditional garbage or whatever there. But then when they come over for the family meal, then they get, an adventure at my house. So I just focus on putting on a memorable spread, not a traditional one. And I also invite my guests to make contributions. So at Thanksgiving, to my guests means a particular dish they know I'm not going to have, then they're more than welcome to bring in and prepare that. That's worked out well. And I let my guests know in advance that maybe the food may be themed a certain way. And sometimes they don't know what they're getting. They just going to know that it's good. So since I'm going to do more, this will be my first more carnivore Thanksgiving, because in the past I've done kind of more keto ones. I'm kind of switching things up a little bit, where I'm going to pack the best food and the tastiest food and like the appetizers and the main dish. More so the sides don't matter. So, I heard this comedian once said that Thanksgiving was all about the sides. Like, but in my carnivore version of a Thanksgiving meal, we're going to pack a lot of the fun things, munchy things, the stuff that people are going to go back and get seconds, the stuff people are going to try to take home with them to eat on, nosh on later, in the appetizer and then in the main dishes. So before I carry on, I just want to say that this would work out better if we all chimed in. So if there are some ideas or things that's worked, especially for the OG carnivores or whatever, because I'm kind of a little newer on my more carnivore journey, then it would be nice if you chimed in, and then we can all make this a great presentation, kind of a
Yeah.
great chat.
Absolutely. So we go to this slide. So if you are the host, what are some of the things that you should do?
So, yeah, so if you're the host, remember you're going to put on a memorable and amazing spread, not necessarily a traditional one. You're going to pack, instead of it being about the side dishes, it's going to be about maybe those appetizers and those meat heavy dishes. You're going to put a lot of love in that so that, your company's getting their eats on with the more nutritious stuff of the meal, the meat part. If a guest really, really wants to, bring something, they can bring something if they want, if they just have to have it. And then if you want to expand menu options, you can consider some cleaner, what I consider single ingredient keto type foods, because now I think keto is on trend and there's a lot of garbage labeled keto. But if you're going to do something maybe in the keto spectrum, I would do something maybe a little bit clean keto and not with a lot of garbage.
Nice, nice. So, I find that that whole thing with nostalgia is like a really big deal. And if you, I mean, most of you are, I'm sure, have this experience where you are remembering foods that you once had, foods of your childhood and so on, and other people do as well. And I remember one Thanksgiving, I tried to make it, quote unquote, healthy, and I used like all organic stuff, and I used to make a red velvet cake. And I, instead of using red food dye, I got like food coloring that was made from beet juice, and I used like something was different about the flour and about the milk that I used. And so the cake didn't really hold together. Like, it tasted good, but when you went in with your fork, like, the whole thing sort of crumbled down to pieces. And I got a lot of pushback from family. People were very upset. So, I mean, fortunately, I don't really care. And so, it's just like, look, I didn't see any of you cooking anything. So, you got a
That's
problem
right.
with it. Yeah, you got a problem with it. You're welcome to take us to the restaurant or to bring it yourself. But
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, but know that there may be people that could give you pushback about moving away from these traditional things.
But I think if you offer them an alternative dining experience, which we're going
Hmm.
to start to build a meal here, then they may not miss it. I know that when I was transitioning to a more keto Thanksgiving, I had such other great dishes. No one said, you know what, this was not Thanksgiving because you didn't have that mac and cheese. Like, no one cared. They really enjoyed the other things that I put on there. So that's the focus. Let's give our guests a great dining experience, and
Hmm.
and show off the way we do things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so
Okay.
now
Hmm.
So now let's build the great dining experience. So I know that whenever I host Thanksgiving, I like to have appetizers or little things that people can nibble on right as they're coming in, because people are coming in at different times. So there's always food a little bit everywhere, and you can nibble. And then after the appetizers, of course, we'll have the meal, and the meal is the main course and maybe some sides if you decide to have it. And then there's even desserts. We're going to share with you some carnivore-ish, carnivore adjacent, carnivore wink wink kind of desserts that I think your guests may enjoy. This is where the appetizers and the main course. Remember, you're gonna put all of your effort, most of your effort, in making amazing appetizers and great main course. And the main course, of course, is meat. And then we're going to have meats with sides of meats and then maybe some more sides if you really need them. So now let's build a great dining experience.
Okay. Let's see. Appetizer ideas.
Okay, so you notice that there is a long list. I'm not suggesting that you make everything on the each list. I'm suggesting that these are ideas. I know that when I have an appetizer, I like different temperatures, different textures, different types of things. And so that's why I picked the things that I picked on here, such as oysters Rockefeller that's served warm. It's broiled underneath I guess, a broiler, and it's really yummy. And then you have something fried and crunchy, like the salmon croquettes or some conch fritters or shrimp fritters or whatever. So you have like something broiled, something fried, something steamed. There's even a raw fish preparation, some tuna tartare with a little avocado slice. And we know fatty fruits are on the relaxed kind of carnivore list, some bacon wrapped scallops, lox. The one thing I love about seafood themed appetizers is that it's great to nosh on, it takes away your hunger, but it doesn't take away your appetite for a larger meal. So for me, I can nosh on some of these like fritters, like salmon croquettes or oysters or whatever, and then I'll still have plenty of room for the amazing main dishes that are going to come. Now, if you're not that seafood person or whatever, then I guess my next idea was to have kind of party food, your favorite party food. So meatballs, some deviled eggs, cheese balls. Cheese balls are a hit. Every year I make all these different cheese balls and they're always gone. If I made two cheese balls, they're gone. If I made eight cheese balls, they're gone. Cheese balls are always a hit. And then I would have, if you have a cheese ball and maybe some pate or mousse or something like that, then I would just provide maybe some carnivore-ish type chips that you can dip them in. I know that on Nisha Loves It video or YouTube channel, she has where they made bacon chips. Pork rinds are a great dipper. Some people are doing the chicken skins. And then I used to do keto seed crackers. So that's kind of more of a keto option, just to kind of, if you need something else to kind of dip everything in. But like, so just looking at the appetizers, and these are just ideas. I know that when I put on Thanksgiving, I'm going to probably have about 5 appetizers or whatever. Having said that, what are some of your favorite appetizers like to put out for a party, things you like to nibble on?
Well, these are some great ideas, and let me see if I can figure out how to keep them on the screen while we talk, because yeah, I think that's helpful. So we actually got some good comments in the comment box. Johnny G asked, "Will there be gravy?" And I think that is an awesome question. Gravy is one of those things that I do kind of miss, and I'm not exactly sure how to bring that back. Lately, I've been experimenting with making oxtails and then, putting a lot of broth in it and then saving that and blending it up with an immersion blender. And it makes a very, thick, substantive sauce. And I bet if I added like an egg yolk, it would get, even better still. So I don't know. I wonder if that is a good way. I mean, that's more work than just, taking the juices after the turkey is made, but that might be good.
I think there's a lot of great gravy options.
Hmm.
If you make stock with parts of the animal with a lot of collagen and things like that, and your stock is super concentrated, like if you use the ankles or, I don't know, chicken feet or pig knuckles or beef, whatever, those connective tissue has
Hmm.
a lot of collagen. So if you boil meat with a lot of collagen and things like that, and the French actually take meat juices like that and create a reduction. And so if you create a reduction, with your collagen, whatever, then you'll have this kind of velvety sauce. And I make like a pan sauce. I'll take some stock. I actually use like heavy whipping cream or
Mm-hmm.
even butter, one of it, because I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, milk is really the trash food of carnivore, really. But anyway, you can take heavy whipping cream, you can take butter, and take your reduction and just
Mm-hmm.
blend it up with an immersion blender and make a nice velvety smooth sauce without the flour. You really don't need flour.
Mm-hmm.
When I was keto, I used to take things like celery and onions and I would roast it in a pan and get them super soft. And
Mm-hmm.
then I would incorporate that in stock. That's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more of a keto option. It has more carbs, but there
Mm-hmm.
are definitely carnivore options for that.
I mean, I never knew that gravy had to be made with flour because I used to watch my grandmother do it and she never used flour. So
Hmm.
I didn't even know that that's what people did. I mean, admittedly, hers wasn't like, sort of pasty and white the way, I see other places. So I understand, like hers didn't have flour in it. But I was like, I thought that's what gravy was and it was tasty to me. So.
Yeah,
So
and then I
yeah.
like that comment about thickening it with gelatin. So
Mm-hmm.
that's, I guess, what we're trying to extract from the
Mm-hmm.
connective tissue of the animals to get that natural gelatin. But that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
I've used xanthan gum in the past, and I don't know, it gets a little slimy for me, in my opinion. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure that I was probably using too much, but yeah. So there are definitely options for gravy. I eat it on my steak every time I make it because I use the pan sauces for that.
Gotcha. And I see Leonard Barnes says, I love deviled eggs, but or they are they carnivore? I have been afraid to eat them because of the center. So the egg is certainly carnivore. I don't know if you're concerned about the mayo that is used to make deviled eggs. So yes, you're right to be concerned about that. And some people make baconaise, which is mayonnaise made from bacon grease, and that's that can be really good. And then I've used just butter, and
Yeah,
that tastes
butter
really good too.
works. It's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah,
Butter
I
works.
mean, you want the butter to be at room temperature, but yeah, that can be really good.
Yeah. All right. So let's see, there's a lot of, what's that, Asian keto? I guess I'm trying to read the comments. Leslie Freeman, I meant Asian
Oh,
keto.
Asian keto is a person who must have put out a video for zero carb gravy.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, she did. It's Keto
yeah.
Asian Flavors. Yeah, I
Okay.
started following her. She has some kind of meat-based items too. Like noodles. She has this great recipe for noodles that I'm excited to try. Um, but anyway, so we've covered the appetizers. That's going to be laid out for your guests, and they're going to come in and go, "Ooh, what's that?" and nosh nosh, and eat up. Now let's go next with the main course. And so
Wait,
this is
wait.
a
I'm gonna
question.
take a note because hopefully by Christmas I will actually put together a substantive list of recipes and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think it would be great if we had another podcast and maybe people took away maybe information from the podcast now and then some
Mm-hmm.
other ideas and we can come back and give feedback on because everybody's wondering like, so did you try
Mm-hmm.
that carnivore stuffing? Did you try whatever? It would be good if we had
Mm-hmm.
a what worked, what didn't work, what can we do going forward? That's just something I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking.
Yeah. Although it's hard to say, like with the protein sparing modified bread, I see some people are like, "Oh my god, this is the best thing ever," and other people are like, "This is the worst thing I've ever tasted," and I can't believe, I wasted moments of my life messing around with this. So I don't know. I really don't know.
I think that's more me because I don't really follow recipes, but
Yeah. Well, well with baking, you kind of have to.
yeah, you definitely have to. So I want to pose a question to everyone that's listening. What is the best side dish for meat. So when I think of a meal, I think of every time I have eggs, I want bacon,
Mm-hmm.
or in the case this morning, brisket. Or, a hot dog is delicious, but a chili dog is amazing. To me, the only thing that's redeemable on a boneless, skinless chicken breast is ham and cheese and a French name, as in chicken cordon bleu. And so I'm trying to make a point that it's not uncommon to have a meat dish with the side of a meat dish. And this is going to be your main. This is going to be your main. And it's really common. Um, oh, I was at a steak restaurant once. Um, and
Sorry, I'm
and it
just
was a
laughing at Deetria's comment. Yes, very true.
yeah. Why don't we share it?
She says, "Good evening, Black Carnivore family. Just for the record, we don't make white looking gravy. Always brown. Maybe a white sauce like Alfredo. Just saying."
True that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but anyway, I was at this restaurant and it was kind of pricey, and I got a steak. And for $10, I could have gotten a baked potato. Yeah, it was a very pricey restaurant, or I could have gotten a side of prawns. What do you think I ordered? To me, my meat with the side of meat is like a delicious meal, and I would think that your family would agree. So, on the main course slide, there are different types of meats there. Can you put that up, Ade?
Yep. Sure.
Okay.
Nope,
Okay.
that's the
So
wrong
there.
one. This
Okay.
one.
So there are different types of meat, and so my suggestion is that you pick two, maybe three meats that are complementary. So on, like, I have, there's fowl. I couldn't think of ruminant animal. I couldn't think of red meat or whatever. But there's a tomahawk steak. I think if you are always curious about tomahawk steak and you never had one, this may be a good time to try it. Or lamb. There is a guy, the musician, on our 21-day challenge. He had lamb and eggs for breakfast, and he said it was outstanding. So there is all of these ideas. There's some type of bird, some type of red meat, maybe even some type of pork, or even some type of seafood if you don't have the seafood appetizers. But I would say pick two or three complementary meats. So if I were doing something like that, let's say I would pick a meat, let's say turkey breast, and have a gravy, and then I would pick maybe some type of roast, and then my turkey breast and my roast can share the same gravy. That's what I would do. Or um, curry. Maybe you try the whole goat curry thing, and you decide to have Cornish game hens with it, because Cornish game hens and curry with goat goes the curry goes really well with both of them. So anyway, we've covered the appetizers, we've covered the mains, the meat with the side of meat.
Well, hold on. So I had goose for the first time a couple of years ago, and I was really surprised at how delicious it was. So, oops, there we go. I mean, I was just kind of like, wow, why have I not eaten this before? So, that's an option as well, I suppose. And I don't know, does that count as red meat? It's because it's certainly more red than regular
Yeah,
chicken.
it's funny. So is duck breast. One Thanksgiving, we did elk loin and duck breast, and we had a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We call it a wild beast feast, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the duck was like red meat. I actually cooked it rare. We don't cook our chickens rare at all, but duck breast is not. It can be overcooked. And it was amazing. It was a lot of my family members had not had duck before because we just don't go around eating duck, but they really
Right.
appreciate it. They really appreciate it, trying something new for the first time. Peking duck, I think, from takeout is amazing when it's crunchy. The skin gets super, super, super crunchy, and oh my God, it is to die for. So yeah, I don't know. I wonder if kind of those wilder game birds are It's almost like eating a red meat. It's really
Mm-hmm.
flavorful and it's a lot darker than boneless, skinless chicken breast or
Well,
something like that.
Johnny G says turducken, so
All right.
you guys have some
Turducken.
great ideas. I'm gonna keep writing, making notes, but those are some great ideas.
And I've never had turducken. What's that? It's a
It
hen inside of a duck inside of a turkey. Is that right, Johnny G?
it's a duck inside of a turkey, but I'm sure you could put, a lot of things in there.
Oh, okay. So I wonder, is it boneless? Like, are you putting like a little bird with all the bones inside of a bird inside of a
Oh,
bird?
wait, we lost your sound.
Hello?
Let's see. I don't know what's going on. Let me see. But yeah, I that sounds like it actually sounds really delicious. Um, yeah, I think the sound problem is on your end, Audra.
Okay, so are you
Oh,
still
there you
able to hear
go.
me?
Now
Okay,
I can
all
hear you.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So, yeah, let's see. What was that melanated meat fueled mama? There was one.
Yeah,
So I guess,
so she melanated meat fueled mama did turducken once, and Mandel is asking if turkey and chickens have the same digestive system, single phase like pigs. Yes, they do. So it's still going to have all the same issues of poultry, but well, I guess they're more wild, so they're more likely eating their natural, whatever their natural diet is. So they have, they're probably a better choice than chicken. So yeah, I think, that's kind of, I think that would be the best way to look at it. That it's a better choice than chicken. Uh,
and,
yeah.
and, and I think for those of us who are
We
sticking
lost your sound
strictly,
again.
okay, there, can you
So
hear me
Leslie
now?
says, yeah, turducken is a great idea. Erica asked about pemmican. So, yeah, I mean, that's certainly a well, it in fact may be more traditional for Thanksgiving since it was an indigenous food dish. But yeah, that's certainly an idea to do. Um, I could hear you for a second there.
Okay, so
Nope.
now can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I just need to stay maybe a little closer to my phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I think for those of us that are just staying with the ruminant animal, you can just have different ruminant animals, lamb and then steak, a tomahawk steak or something like that. So I think this is a good time to try new things. If you were curious about goats or
Mm-hmm.
like, I finally broke down and bought a tomahawk steak, and it was fun, but I just prefer my ribeye. So
And what
yeah.
is this lechon with crispy skin? I've never seen that before.
So, lechon, it's almost like I want to say a Filipino dish. It's typically pork and it's served
Mm-hmm.
with its skin, and the meat is super tender and the skin is super crunchy. And so, since pork is so fatty, it's usually eaten with vinegar. So, like if
Mm-hmm.
you were to get like a pork belly and it still had the skin on it, you would prepare it. And there's tons of recipes on YouTube, tons.
Mm-hmm.
You would be able to prepare it in such a way where the meat is just so tender and moist and the skin is crunchy. And that's what makes a good lechon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if the pork skin is not crunchy, like for me, it's not
Forget
worth
about
eating.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, forget about it.
absolutely. Okay, let's see what's next. So sides.
Okay, so for sides, I think if your meat with the side of meat is not quite side enough, then I would be really, really strategic about the sides that I would pick. Now, the first side that you're going to always want is something to sop up the gravy, the meat juices, things like that. And so there are some carnivore options. There is the protein sparing modified bread by that's put out by Maria Emmerich. And I've seen a lot of people take that. And then there's versions where you don't have to use raw egg whites. There are versions where you use some whole egg powder, and people are playing with it, and it's there. The egg yolk muffins from there's a Facebook group from Victoria. I think it's Principia Carnivore or something, but she has that recipe. Um, there's all kinds, or chaffles even. If you think of chaffles, some people have been really successful, but the point is, this is a side that's gonna help you sop up, if you have to have it, help you sop up some meat juices and all the gravy and the curries or whatever, however you decide to do it. This is where keto can come in play. There is a keto oopsie bread, I think, that uses psyllium husk, but everything else is kind of from the animal kingdom. There is things like, I like creamed cauliflower or mashed cauliflower, because it's still a good vehicle for the gravy and the whatever. So if you're gonna have some non-carnivore options, I would opt, just to have something that can soak up all of the meat juices. Now, I know that there is a stuffing that's kind of going on and around the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not had a lot of success with it. I've tried making it. It is like a stuffing in which you take pork rinds and eggs, and I think like raw chicken or raw ground turkey, and you blend all of that up with baking powder and you bake it, and then you make like a stuffing with it or a dressing. And I have not had any success with that at all. So this is when you guys can weigh in and see, have you made it or a version of it that worked, because it was abysmal when I tried it. It didn't work for me.
Yeah, the first time I made it, I broke up the pork rinds into sort of cubes. I mixed them with butter and a whole bunch of broth and spices, and I baked it in like a small casserole dish. And when I looked at it, it looked exactly like stuffing. And I think I had also cooked in some like ground sausage meat, so it was just like stuffing. It looked just like stuffing. But when I ate it, it tasted nothing like stuffing, and it was horrible. And I was like, I can't eat this. And for a long time, I didn't really like pork rinds. Like, I feel like pork rinds have a little bit of an aftertaste that, like, it's okay when I'm eating it in its pork rind form, but when I'm trying to turn it into, like, pancakes or bread or other stuff, it's just kind of like, I don't like this. So, I don't know. It didn't really work for me. But I also didn't use cheese, and I saw there was a recipe that called for cheese and heavy whipping cream, and I feel like maybe that made it work better, because a lot of people raved about it.
I kind of have a philosophy about that. Like, um, why do vegans make hamburgers that bleed and it's all out of plants?
Um,
Or
I
have,
can't hear you, but I think it might be me and my headphones.
oh, okay.
Okay, now I
So,
can. Keep going. Don't
okay.
repeat, just keep going.
Okay, well, kind of like, there are vegan hot dogs, vegan sausage patties, tofurkey, like all of these vegan versions of meat. And whenever I think you're trying to take a food and use a lot of chemicals and processes and all of that to create a whole different category of food, I haven't had a lot of success doing that. So just for the record, I haven't had a lot of success making carnivore bread, and
Mm-hmm.
um and I haven't, even with when I was keto, there's a lot of almond flour versions of breads and things, and it just didn't do it for me. Like, for me personally, I'm learning to appreciate food for what it is and not try to take a bunch of ingredients, like a bunch of meat, and create something that's not meat, or make
Mm-hmm.
a bread. Kind of like, the whole vegans making hamburgers that bleed, or vegans, and so it's kind of that. So I'm not trying to talk smack about anyone's particular diet. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that um, And I think if you've had success in creating a bread or bread-like substance made out of animal products, if you want to weigh in, I think, this is where we can use suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Well, and I've seen people use like I don't know, shredded or ground up chicken breast. And, that seems to have the texture where I've seen people make noodles out of that. And yeah. So I don't know. For me, it's kind of like I'm done with that type of food, so it's not
yeah.
helpful. But, that might be something to try as well. Now, I saw earlier up, Johnny G says, can we have a baked ham too? And I'm thinking, oh, of course. We didn't even put the traditional stuff on the list. But
Yeah, just
yes, a
put
ham,
everything on
turkey.
there. Yeah,
Like,
yeah. These are
yeah, the regular
you
stuff
can have
too.
pork chops if you want. You have a ham.
Mm
You can ask your grandmama to make her oxtails. I mean, this is the time when you just like put it all out there, and you're so busy noshing on the different meats and stuff like that. You're not
hmm. Mm
really
hmm.
looking for the stuffing and all the other whatever paraphernalia that gets in the way of our meat. So
Exactly.
um,
And Deetria says
anyway,
Haitian fried pork shoulder is one of her family's favorites for the holidays. So yeah, that pork shoulder with a crispy top is
oh yeah. Is that
always a
griots?
classic.
I think it's griots, right? Am I pronouncing
Mm-hmm.
that right? But that
Mm-hmm.
is amazing. I love griots.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can have some griots for Thanksgiving. We don't have to
Yeah.
do the lechon. We can do some griots. So
And Leslie Freeman calls out carnivore mac and cheese. So I'm not really clear how you would make that. I guess with the like protein sparing modified bread maybe, or the pork rinds you could make macaroni shaped stuff. I don't know.
So I think this is a good time to say when we do our follow-up podcast, if
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity lends itself, if you guys are making these things for the Thanksgiving and you're like, hey, Ade, this really worked, maybe we can
Mm-hmm.
combine those suggestions. And so then when we go in for other holiday meals, we'll have some fun things to try because somebody perfected the recipe or they tried it a different way or they decided that they don't really need the bread. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see Miss Tatey said, I wonder if the stuffing can be made with protein sparing modified bread. I know I saw recipes last year with that. So, yeah, for sure. And Johnny G has not forgotten about our four legged friends who patiently and faithfully wait, watching your every move in the kitchen, waiting for the opportunity to come clean the floor. So, yes, absolutely.
They're gonna really enjoy this Thanksgiving. Well, I don't know. Meat doesn't
Mm
hit my door. It's too expensive. Like I'll catch it mid.
hmm. Mm hmm. Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I don't usually drop big chunks, but there's always a little something, and my dog always comes and hoovers and, takes a close look to see what's fallen. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So anyway, those are ideas for sides. I still on occasion eat greens. I really like them. So my family traditionally has collard greens. But we'll do a mixed greens like we'll mix collards with cabbage and turnips and we'll do a mixed greens or whatever, Brussels sprouts, broccolini, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you just have to have it. When I was keto, that's what I ate my spaghetti sauce on. I would roast broccoli or I would, or something like that. And then I would put gravy on it. And it didn't really sop it up, but it made everything taste good. So,
Oh, and I see Melanated Meat Fueled Mama says, who mentions the egg life wraps and cheese sauce, and also egg noodles. That she used egg noodles to make the mac and cheese.
oh, nice, nice. I
Yeah.
know that.
So we forgot to mention the egg noodles or the egg wraps because that's definitely making its rounds now, and people are really finding it popular. And I have now made some recipes for burritos using
Oh,
those,
nice.
and that's kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So you guys will have to tell me how. I've never had the egg wraps, so you guys will have to tell me
Mm-hmm.
how it tastes.
Yeah, a lot
All
of
right.
people have had them. They really like them. So yeah, go ahead. So let's move on to the next one, right?
Okay, so now, last but not least, are our desserts. Okay, so when I did this, I did basically three different types of desserts. Dairy lends itself well for desserts. So there's a lot of dairy-based items. There's a lot of egg-based items, and then there are some items that are not dairy and egg-based, but they're still kind of carnivore-ish, or it uses mostly carnivore-ish or things on the ingredient list that are okay. But dairy is naturally sweet. And the great thing about using dairy in a dessert is that you don't have to add sugar. Now, I know that since I've been carnivore and I've been avoiding the sugar and even the sweeteners, I am really sensitive to sweet tasting things. The other day, I drank some pickle juice and I got a headache, and I realized that it wasn't a sweet pickle, but maybe in the making of it, maybe a little sugar was added, and it doesn't taste like sweet pickled brine at all. But the point is, I am so super sensitive to sweet things that you can make all kinds of things out of milk or cream or whatever, and you don't have to add sugar. But for those of our family members who prefer it a little bit sweeter, you can provide like a little drizzle of honey or some fruit or chocolate or something for the family. You don't have to have it. So I saw this great frozen custard or ice cream recipe. It's something I used to make when my kids were little, and it is delicious. Basically, it's egg yolks, heavy whipping cream, a pinch of salt, and vanilla bean powder. Boom. Mix it, put it in your ice cream maker, or you can put it in a metal bowl and stick it in the freezer and then take it out, blend it with your hand mixer, put it back in the freezer, and do that like every 30 minutes until it's thick, and it makes the best ice cream.
Oh
I
my
like making
goodness, how long does that take?
well,
And
for
what kind of
us, every
arm muscles do you need to have?
well, I use a hand mixer,
Oh, okay.
because I don't have
Because
a ice
one
cream.
year I decided to make a whipped cream by hand, and I just wanted to. That year I was trying to make everything like from scratch, at home, and oh my god! I mean, I was just like, I can't believe how long this is taking. The bowl went around to everybody in the family. Everybody had to do a bit, and
Wow.
eventually it whipped, but it was like, I don't know if this is worth it.
Well, when I was a kid in the summer, we were a tennis playing family. We used to take our ice cream maker to the park, the crank one, the one with the crank that you put the ice and the salt in. And I remember it would be so hard to crank. So in between sets, because we do like a round robin, play each other. So in between sets, we'd be cranking it up, cranking it. And yeah, it does. It takes a lot. And that's a good workout. I wonder if that counts for the hit workout we have to do on your 21-day plan. So,
Absolutely.
but anyway, you can make a cheesecake. The You don't need sugar for a cheesecake because cream cheese is really sweet. Um, you can use sometimes I'll sub goat cheese for some of the cream cheese, and it's tangier. It's delicious. You can use mascarpone cheese, which is typically in a lot of Italian desserts. That mascarpone cheese, to me, it's sweeter than cream cheese, but if you don't put eggs in your cream in your cheesecake batter, then it's a no bake cheesecake. So the point is, milk is naturally sweet. You don't have to add any sugar whatsoever, any sweetener whatsoever. And if it's not sweet enough, you can always to flavor it or whatever.
Okay.
Are you able to hear me?
My headphones are coming in and out, but well, hold on. Um, so we'll keep talking.
Okay, I like what Johnny G said. What whipping cream has a better burn than a kettlebell workout. That's pretty good. I'm going to use that. So when I'm whipping, I'll do it by hand, and then that way I'll tell everybody, "This is my workout, girl. I'm getting ready to get my eat on." So,
Yeah.
okay. So the next idea are the egg-based desserts. I think eggs and milk lends itself so well to desserts. And then these are just ideas. Steak and Butter Gal does a egg custard, and I remember that was popular at one time. I would just sub some heavy whipping cream for the liquid or something. Um, a flourless chocolate tort. They're now I know that chocolate is not carnivore, but the eggs that go in the tort and the eggs is the majority of the item that's in it. So remember, these aren't 100% carnivore. They're a little bit maybe carnivore adjacent and not as sweet, or where we're not the dessert is not so much based on having a lot of sugar to give it flavor. Souffle. I Oh yeah, by the way, I do make chocolate souffle, and it's so easy. And my family enjoys it. Or meringue cookies. Now with the meringue cookies, I find that if it's a peppermint or anise licoricey taste, like I taste in a lot of Italian desserts, then it can hide stevia if you use stevia as a sweetener. And to me, it is always that stevia taste. But things like chocolate and licorice or anise and mint hides that stevia taste. And every year I make homemade eggnog. Every year, my eggnog is actually pretty bomb. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, so all of those are kind of eggy type things that you can have. So the next idea I thought for those of us who are not really doing the milk, those of us who are not really doing the eggs, there are options for you. So these are the egg-free, dairy-free alternatives. Now, I may get in trouble for saying this, but I like making homemade gummies. And homemade gummies are super, super simple to make. Um, the link to the recipe you said is going to be on the black. You're going to put that to the descript in the information below.
The information was just actually in that slide. I didn't actually put it together in, in sort of like a recipe format. So,
Okay.
we this is like kind of new. These are new recipes to me, although there are things that Audra makes. So over time, and before the next holiday, I hope to kind of capture all of these different recipes that we're talking about and bring them all into one place. But, they are not
Okay.
gathered together like that just yet. But
So the great thing about making gummies, you can take 8 ounces of your favorite beverage. Last time I made it, I used cinnamon tea. You can use Zevia, I guess those drinks made with stevia, like a root beer flavor, or I don't know, they have kind of a Mountain Dew-ish type of flavor, whatever, and you can make a gummy out of it, and it's great with kids. Now, I have silicone molds that I use. I don't have any bears or whatever, but it would be so much fun for the kids to pick or low sugar or sugar alternative beverage that tastes really good on its own and make it a gummy. You can also make truffles, and I make truffles using avocado. It is so good. My husband is a chocolate fiend and he loves the truffles made with avocado. It has no milk, obviously, it has no eggs. The only thing I do is I use Lily's brand chocolate. So if you go to lilies.com, you can see, and it is a chocolate sweetened with stevia. Some have inulin, some have erythritol, but it doesn't. It's a good chocolate because it doesn't upset my stomach like some of the diabetic chocolates that you see, because that sends me straight to the bathroom. I know TMI, but the but the point is, Lily's brand chocolate. They're white chocolate. the dark chocolate. Now, the white chocolate and the milk chocolate does have milk in it, but there are options without milk in it. And if you melt it and mix it with avocado, you can make truffles. And it's great. We do different flavors. We roll the truffles into cocoa powder, and we add spices to the cocoa powder and make kind of a, I want to say a like a, I'm gonna call it a Mexican themed chocolate one. We do cayenne and cinnamon and whatever. But you can do so much with truffles. You can have so many different truffles. I mean, it's truffles are really easy to get creative with. But those two ideas are kind of milk free, dairy free items that are either made from an animal product like the gelatin or made on, if you're a relaxed carnivore, you can use the avocado and maybe some of the stevia.
Well, so these are these are really like creative recipes. A lot of this stuff I never would have thought of, at all. And the truffles with the avocado is, fantastic. So what an amazing kind of idea there. And the gummies, yeah, that, good times. So you all know that I lived in Amsterdam for a couple of years, and there was like a particular candy that everybody had, which was, well, they called them wine gums, but essentially they were like gummies in various shapes. And yeah, I had a lot of those nights. So to know that there is a way to kind of make carnivore gummies or near carnivore gummies is
Yeah,
incredible.
carnivore
Yeah.
adjacent. I'm gonna call it
Yeah.
just because the liquid. Yeah, and
Well,
of
the
course,
liquid is gelatin, so right?
right,
And your favorite flavoring. I mean, you could figure out
right.
a flavoring that, it works for you. And I see Johnny G says chocolate's not carnivore. I'm out. So I agree. But it sounds like you could do a truffle on moderate carnivore, and as long as you're not eating like, a pound of them, uh stay in
Right.
ketosis, not have much of a reaction, and get your chocolate flavor in. But if you are
So
addicted to sugar, don't do it.
yeah, I just think that based on, I guess, where we are in our health journey, some people are going to be super strict. Some people may have allowances throughout the year for the occasional something treat. And so this is an allowance, is not high in sugar. So it's not going to really throw you off, I think. So I don't know. For me, I'm a little bit flexible. It's just the holiday occasion. So it's not something I have every day.
Hmm. Yeah. And Melanated Meat Fueled Mama says Maria Emmerich has a recipe for gummies using that limit, what do you call it, electrolytes. And we had talked, or I don't know, maybe I had said it on a previous live stream. I would love it if there's like a lollipop that's like the size of a Tootsie Pop, something small, or Dum Dums, something small, but and an alternative way of getting your electrolytes in. So,
Yeah, I saw when I was looking at I guess ideas for gummies. Some people have even used, I think, a Redmond real salt. They have a
mhm,
minerals one, and
mhm,
it has like the flavoring in it, like the stevia and like a raspberry
mhm.
flavor, a lemon flavor, and you can make a gummy out of that. And I think if you
Hmm.
add a little citric acid to it, which is in, well, you can get citric acid, it'll taste like almost like a Sour Patch Kid. You know what I mean? You'll get
Oh,
you know
oh,
what I mean?
yes,
So it'll kind of
yes,
give you that kind of
yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
you can put that in your gummy, like, so it's so there's a lot you can do. The
Mhm,
gelatin part is the carnivore part. The truffle is a little bit more carnivore adjacent. It's not necessarily carnivore unless you make your truffle
mhm,
out of milk and cream, but make it out of
mhm.
avocado, which is on the relaxed carnivore list, and the stevia flavored chocolate, because the
Well,
stevia or whatever.
avocado is on the moderate list.
Moderate list. Okay.
The sweetener would be in the relaxed, and the
On the relaxed. Okay.
yeah, and I don't know. I don't know where you'd put chocolate powder. I guess I
Yeah.
would, yeah. So
So, but
Heather G talks about making Zevia gummies and dipping them in chocolate. So I like gummies and I like chocolate, but I'm not sure about how they go together. Um, but
yeah. Well,
it's up to you. What you do with your
yeah.
dessert is your own business.
And I think, if we are able to get back and take some ideas and play with them ourselves and come back and talk what worked, what didn't work, who knows? There may be a Zevia gummy that's dippable in chocolate. I don't
Yeah.
know. If you're gonna do truffles, again, I mentioned rolling it around in the cocoa powder
Hmm.
with different spices or whatever. Or if you mix a little bit of the Lily's chocolate sweetened with stevia and
Hmm.
um, coconut oil, you can get that hard topping and you can put that on your carnivore ice cream. So, like
Hmm.
I'm not sure if like back in the day when it used to take an ice cream bar and dip it in chocolate and then it would have that hard shell. That hard shell is just melted coconut oil and chocolate. So there are recipes that
Wow.
I'm sure there are recipes that are
Wow.
out there. But yeah, you can put your truffle in that if your truffle's cold or put that on your ice cream. I mean, coconut oil is not carnivore. I know. So far, there's two ingredients that are not carnivore: is avocado, coconut oil, or chocolate. But remember, the if you're still trying to stay away from carbs, but you still want a treat, this is just something like that. So it just depends on where you are in
Hmm.
your journey. All
So
right, so
Johnny G says Sour Patch just triggered A Day, and he is 100% right. That that was brand new information to me that I could get somehow achieve that without going to the real thing. And
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
just use that element tea or that relight from Redmond's Real Salt, and put some citric acid in it, and
Well,
then
I'm
you'll
not
get
gonna
that.
do it. It's not. I
Yeah,
shouldn't do that. It's not, clearly not a good idea for me. But
yeah,
yes,
and
to
it's
know
not
that
going to
it's
be that
possible.
sweet. Yeah, it's not going to be that sweet either.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so I'm
wow.
ready to
So
put
these
together
are
some
like,
sample menus.
yeah,
I'm sorry, go
yeah. So
ahead.
let's move on. Well, I was gonna say, like, we've, just brainstormed a ton of good dessert ideas. So I guess this is just how it always is. There's, like, you go on Pinterest, there's, 50 recipes for food and 10,000 for dessert. So, that's just how it is. So here we are. We've talked about a ton of desserts. But yeah, let's go on to talk about, oop, not that. Nope, we did that. Here we go. Nope, we did that too, right? Um,
Yeah, the truffles. Yeah.
Here we
Okay.
go. Sample menu.
Okay, so this is just one sample menu. So I just kind of taken all of the suggestions and I'm putting it all together. And this is just how I would use this information. So, for example, if your company comes in and you have all of these seafood things out, like some steamed shrimp and garlic butter, some oysters, some salmon croquettes, which Ada has a really good recipe on her among her YouTube videos for salmon croquettes. It's really good.
Yeah, actually,
Pumpkins,
everybody, you feel free to go. If you go to my website, I mean, to my YouTube channel, I do have a playlist called Carnivore Bites, which has all of the videos, the cooking videos I've made, which includes the salmon croquettes and some other things. But, try them all.
yeah. So you get your fill of this, and then for the main course we have our meat with a side of meat. So I was thinking like a lamb shank, that's really good with gravy, and if you had a smoked turkey breast, the gravy can go on both your lamb shank and your smoked turkey breast. And then if you need a little something something extra, the griots or what's the Haitian fried pork shoulder or the lechon that crispy pork with the pork with the crispy skin. And I like to, that's kind of rich. I like to dip it with a little vinegar. That's just myself. If you have to have something to sop up the gravy besides the meat, you can include the protein sparing modified bread. And then for dessert, you can have like a flourless chocolate torte from the egg dessert option. So this is how I would put together. You notice that I stacked a majority of my effort into the meat dishes. So, if you're eating all of these amazing things, you have these bites, you have something fried and something fresh and something smothered in gravy and whatever. It sounds like a satisfying meal where the dessert is not that big of a deal, but you have something in case someone wants something.
Nice. Nice. So, let's see. I see Leslie says chocolate covered gummies are not that unusual. Sees Candy makes some. So I'm so sorry, Leslie. You are absolutely right. And when I lived in LA, See's Candy, I guess they're from LA, and so the factory that makes all those boxes is there. And so I used to go and get fresh See's Candy, and ooh, good stuff. So we'll not do that ever again. But yeah, that was good stuff. And I
Well,
see
and
some,
Leslie, you can make your own chocolate now. You have recipes from our talk tonight. You can make your own chocolate, your own truffles. You can jellies, gummies, everything. You got this.
absolutely. And Island Girl is loving the menu, so thank you. I hope that this information is helpful to you all. I feel like we're throwing a lot of stuff at you and not like all of the recipes. But yeah, it takes a bit to put that all together. But you can certainly download this presentation, and at least you'll have all the names of stuff, and you can kind of put together your menu or choose one of these menus. So yeah.
Or even choose options like the menu is maybe a skeleton of things, and just think
Hmm.
about your favorite things. What does your family like for an appetizer? Especially those meaty ones, like hot cheese dip. Like my family loves hot cheese dip or whatever. What do your family like for dessert? Like my family would love homemade ice cream and truffles or something. So yeah, so you can just kind
I
of
I
use
used to make I used to make this cheese sauce that I just loved, hands down. And it was like heavy whipping cream, butter, cream cheese, and cheddar cheese all melted, and it made essentially like a fondue. So it was, a pretty thick sauce, but still like you would dip, like if I had a fondue pot, it would have been perfect. And
yeah.
I remember like the recipe was supposed to serve for, and it was like 500 calories a serving. And I know that I ate all four servings in one day. And yeah, that was a ton. And stunningly, my stomach was not bothered at all. I'm sure my asthma was like at, the worst, but my stomach felt fine and it was delicious. So if you do like cheese, I highly recommend making that sauce and doing fondue, which I learned was anything can be dipped in a cheese sauce and be fondue. So
Yeah, I think it may even make that protein sparing modified bread edible if you dip that in a cheese sauce.
yeah.
Okay, I'll stop hating
Well,
on it. I'm sure there's people
or
that like it.
chicken breast. I
Right,
mean,
or
there's
chicken
all
breast,
kinds
yeah.
of, yeah, or maybe that's a good use for London broil. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, that's a really good idea. Some London broiled chicken
Yeah.
breast, a little protein sparing modified, whatever. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So Johnny G's not having it. Scallops, baked ham, and rib roast for the win. Yes, and gravy. Yeah.
What time is dinner, Johnny G? I'm coming to your house. I'm not hosting. Just kidding.
Yeah. All right. And Vincent says, "Welcome to food porn." You're absolutely right, Vincent. And I'm not even showing you pictures, so we're just like describing food porn.
Yeah, you have quite the imagination, sir. All right.
Yeah.
So, did we have any other sample menus, or was that just
Yes.
the one?
Yes. Yes. We still have some more. Hold on. Nope. I should have labeled these instead of just numbers. So that was one, and then here's two. So you've got the party food appetizers.
Uh-huh. Corned beef, because now we can make one. Eddie made one in her fridge. Some smoked turkey legs, maybe a smoked salmon. And then you have like little bites and like little meringue cookies or truffles or gummies or something. So, and remember, the appetizers are packed. You're getting meatballs and chicken liver mousse and bacon deviled eggs. I mean, that's heavy. And then you're getting corned beef and smoked turkey legs and all of that. So the dessert is not like it's like but you have like something. Someone really has to have a little bite of something sweet, because some people we're no longer that way, right? That's the that's the great thing about
Mm-hmm.
carnivore. Some people still want a little bite of something sweet, so you can give them a gummy. The last gummies I made, I call them cinnamon red hots. I used cinnamon tea, cinnamon, and cayenne pepper and made a gummy. And it's funny, my husband tasted it. He goes, "Oh, it needs to be a little sweeter." I thought it was great. But but in any event, yeah. So your gummies can be any flavor. Um, so that's like a just kind of an idea. Remember, we're putting our effort in the meaty type things, and so the sides don't really
Mm-hmm.
matter. So like I know if I had that meal, I wouldn't need candy yams or mac and cheese because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like with the hot cheese dip and all that other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know, I'm really satisfied. I'm full. I feel like I had a celebratory holiday dinner.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, the point is to do something that's a little bit out of the ordinary so it feels like a special occasion. And so like some of these things that we're talking about, like, they do require some work. And but this is like one holiday, one day. So, some of those things you can do. I see Deetria says hot dogs dipped in fondue. Now that I like the
Yeah.
thinking.
Oh, yeah.
We're
That,
on the
that sounds
same
so
wavelength.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And Leslie Freeman says she makes egg custard for breakfast every single Christmas morning. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I gotta try this. I've never liked pudding type foods. I never liked that texture of food, but everyone raves about it. So, and this week I've been having bone marrow, roasted bone marrow, and it has that texture that I generally don't like, but I like it. So it makes me think, maybe I should try. Might be all
Yeah.
right.
Or I'm thinking about your marrow bone, what do you call it? Creme brulee that you were talking one time. You put the
Hmm.
salt on it, and that sounds like a really yummy
Well,
appetizer.
it has the texture, so that the top is like kind of crispy because of the salt, but in no other way is it like creme brulee.
No, okay,
It
but that's
it
what I mean.
has,
Yeah,
I mean, it has that smooth silkiness of the soft interior, but it's not sweet. It's no other way like creme brulee. But yeah, that's good stuff. I liked it.
yeah, and that would make a fun appetizer for people who
Hmm.
have never had marrow bones before. So
Hmm.
like I said, when we were a kid, we used to break open the chicken bone, suck the marrow out. But like to make this beautiful beef marrow bone dish, it would be
Hmm.
a really special holiday appetizer, I
Well,
think.
I do want to say that bone marrow is not beautiful. It it's just weird looking. The bones never sit, perfectly flat. There's always like connective tissue and other stuff stuck to them. So I don't know. They're not to me. They're not beautiful,
But
but
do they taste good?
they taste great. They taste
Okay,
great. But
so that's
to
the
be
point.
fair, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
the point.
Okay. So let's see what's next.
There are other couple of other meal
We did that
ideas.
one. Here we go. Sample menu three.
So this is more of a simple one. This one, I just thought there is a keto option in there for the keto seed crackers. I want to say Diet Doctor or something. There's like a recipe on their website for the keto seed crackers. But like if you had some, like I like smoked salmon and with a little bit of a pickled onion, which if the onions are pickled, you don't have to have a lot. I know it's not keto or carnivore, but just something to complement a little something something. Shrimp with aioli and keto sea
Well, I
crackers, and
think
then
you're right. Like with very fatty things and with smoked things, I feel like you need something kind of acidic, so you got to
yeah.
have the pickled onion or something.
Yeah, and so and then this a Cornish game hen with some goat curry. I think holidays can be the time that you try a new maybe a meat that's not eaten really commonly in your home. I think that's a way to make holidays interesting and festive, the typical fancy food, and then have like I don't know, like the seafood, and then have something like a goat curry or whatever. That would be lovely. And then just the citron cheesecake. The cheesecake, remember, you're gonna just make a cheesecake and then have the optional of a drizzle or something on top of it if someone has to have, something sweeter because cream cheese is already kind of sweet. So,
Hmm. Yeah. So, okay, and now let's go to the next one, sample menu 4.
okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, deviled eggs and chicken liver mousse. This is the reason why I put this up here is because I see cuts of meat. Like I've seen something like picanha, which is a cut that's common in Brazilian barbecue places, or the tomahawk steak, or other cuts that I'm not really familiar with. And I thought, if you wanted to try a cut of meat that's new, it may be fun to do on a holiday. So the last slide was you're going to try a brand new meat, maybe, and then this slide is you're going to try a cut of meat. So, like, I'm really curious about the picanha, trying to make it myself. But anyway, you have like something simple. It's just a couple of things. Bacon wrapped scallops.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's always fun. I mean, and it's easy. And the last time I made bacon wrapped scallops, we didn't even season it. We literally took bacon, wrapped it around a big old scallop, put a toothpick in it, and put it in the it wasn't an instant pot. What's the other thing everyone's using? The
Air fryer. Air
yeah, the air
fryer.
fryer. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was done in like I don't know, was it even 5 minutes? And initially I was concerned because I thought, oh, is the bacon gonna cook or is it gonna be crispy, whatever? And it's just good.
Yeah.
So it is
Yeah.
so easy. These are more easy, common things like deviled eggs are common. Chicken mousse or whatever, or liver pate or whatever is common. So, and then you have like that special cut of meat, and then something a little bit more familiar with the turkey breast. Um, and then you have like the dessert that was shown.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
just ideas to make it more holiday-ish, more festive, or yeah.
Well, Johnny G is asking if we can have a part 2 with mukbang. Um, so I would be willing to do it if Audra were cooking. If I lived even on the same coast, I would let her do the cooking and I would come over. But I don't know. A lot of these things are definitely complicated and outside my wheelhouse.
I probably couldn't eat on camera. You know what I mean? Because I talk too much, and so you can't talk with your mouth full of food. That's not a good
That's
look on
how
me.
mukbang works. That's how mukbang works.
Oh
You're supposed
boy.
to make a lot of sloppy sounding noises as you eat, and talk simultaneously. So that's how it works. But
I tell you what,
we'll see.
why don't
We'll
you
see.
film yourself doing it and then do it for the channel? I'm
So Leslie says deep fried salmon nuggets with aioli. Now that's interesting. I don't know how,
wow.
yeah, that sounds really good. So yeah, maybe you could deep fry it in butter. I don't know. Sounds good. Um,
Okay, so I'm sorry,
and
go ahead.
the last slide to wrap up.
Okay, yeah. So I would make sure to stack the meat-based foods. So the meal should be super meat heavy, fun variety, things that go well together. Remember, meat with a side of meat, that's actually the norm, right? And I would put more emphasis in that. So my Thanksgiving is not about the sides, it is about the meat. Um, I would just be strategic about the sides. Like, there are keto and carnivore options if you have to have something other than meat to sop up the gravy. You don't have to add sugar to desserts to have it taste sweet or even have it taste dessert like. You can always do a side of an optional drizzle or something, or you can try making that hard chocolate shell with the coconut oil and melted chocolate. So there's fun things you can do with desserts without having to add sugar or even a sweetener. And then you can have kind of sweetener options for people who like it a little sweet. And then that is it. I think you should decide on a strategy and stick with it.
Yeah, so that yeah, it was something that I was thinking. When a lot of times for the holidays, people need to decide if you are going to try to, stick to carnivore and go carnivore all the way through, or if you are going to try to decide to just kind of do keto and be a little more relaxed, or whether you're going to say, to heck with all of this, I'm just going to dive face down into the cake and the stuffing, and I'm just going to do it like I do it. And and that can be fine. I mean, you're an adult. You like you only you have to, deal with the consequences of your actions. And if, you can do that for just 1 day or 2 days and then get back on track, then, that's fine. Just make sure that you can get back on track because, many a person has said, okay, I'm just gonna eat whatever on Thanksgiving and on Friday get back on track. And then Friday, breakfast, you decide to have like brunch, and then, somebody calls and you go hang out for dinner, and then Saturday comes and there's, still holiday things to do. And next thing you know, it's Monday, and then you can't start on a Monday. And then, next thing you know, it's January, and you're just now like really starting to think about getting back on track. So if you are going to go off track, just, have a hard deadline by which you're going to get back on track and a plan for how you're going to get back on track and do that. And that plan should be joining my December 21 day carnivore challenge. That is a great way to get back on track. And there's a link in the description so you can sign up for the wait list. So when it's time, I can let you know about it. Um, yeah, so that's those are some of the strategies to think about. And, if you're going to stay carnivore throughout, I mean, there are definitely challenges to that. So, we've talked about some tonight, and we'll talk about more next week. So yeah, next week I want to talk more in more detail about strategy. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was just going to mention that I'm doing the 21-day challenge for November. And I know if I was not doing this challenge, there were stressful situations that came up um, in which I could have effed up some potato chips or or some booze or something. So so it was because of the challenge and because like, I have to stick with the challenge or, that accountability that I just had to really dig deep within myself and not derail my success. So I'm grateful for the challenge. Having said that, so I think, who starts a challenge during a holiday season? But I think that's kind of like a good playing card in your back pocket that you don't derail everything you've worked hard for or everything you're trying to work hard for. You already have a plan, and I guess in our challenge we are talking about things like what happens when we travel, what happens, all of these things. So anyway, I just think the 21-day challenge is actually a really good idea, and joining it around a holiday is probably the best idea.
Mhm. Yeah. So I mean I think this is a way for people to like not go crazy, and just there's
Yeah,
like one week where you go crazy and then you get yourself back together. So yeah, so it's only 3 weeks. So the week for Thanksgiving and the week for Christmas, you're good to go.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Vincent says, yeah, as long as you don't add to the leftover pile, once it's gone, I'm done. So, yeah. Except that, I have that same mentality too, but like there might be a whole tray and it's like, well, I got to finish this and then I'm done. But
Well,
yeah.
I'll tell you this, when we do our Thanksgivings and we have those great appetizers and stuff, there is nothing left. The last Thanksgiving we did, I actually bought pie from a real pie place. Like it was the whatever carby pie just to have for some of the guests that came over. And that was the only thing left over. Everything else was gone. People are like, I'm like, wait, are you taking my good Tupperware? Like, I had to tell my kids, wait a second now. That's mama's good Tupperware. You should have bought your own. So we're looking for foil and
Actually,
sandwich bags and
that's a great idea. Is when you do make your Thanksgiving meal, you should go to Costco's and get those metal trays with the paper top that are for taking home leftovers. The stuff that you get like at a restaurant, and so that you can fix people their real plates and stuff. 'Cause I don't
yeah,
know. I feel like that people are gonna people are gonna take stuff home, and that you want them to. You don't want to be left with nine pies, so you should
yeah,
have
true.
not Tupperware, but the things that you're fine about people taking.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but that's like, yeah. So, and I'm saying if you throw down like this, you put together some bomb appetizers, an amazing meal and stuff, you will not have appetizers.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, Anna says, 8A and Audra, you guys are so much fun. We don't have Thanksgiving, but holidays, for sure. Lucky it's summer here over Christmas and New Year's, so barbecues are king, just planning on lots of steak. I
All right.
so cannot even wrap my head around like a warm Christmas barbecue, but I love it. I love it. That like
Yeah.
solves all the problems. Because summertime, I have no problem when it's like all this barbecuing stuff. Like it feels very easy. But, winter is when, you don't have as much control over like the food prep and there's all this, stuff mixed in and everything like that. So I am loving this idea of like a Christmas barbecue. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And I
I
guess
think
it's in
Anna
the dead
should
of
make
summer.
an appearance. I think she should make an
Mhm.
appearance and talk to us about her menu for Christmas. That sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to hear it. Yeah. So Melanated Meatfield Mama says, we do barbecue here in Florida all year. That's been a great meal plan for Christmas. Wow. I guess I got to get out of the Northeast. I had no idea the warm states are just living it up and having a great time. So, yeah, I mean, I lived in LA, but like, in winter time, I mean, it wasn't freezing, but it was chilly. Like, you wouldn't want to be sitting outside, at least not without a fire. So, I feel like people maybe barbecued, but not everyone was sitting outside, like, with the barbecue or whatever. So, I don't know. Okay. So, yeah, we have had a great conversation. We have covered it all. I hope that you all got some good ideas. Any of you watching the replay, I hope you find some inspiration here and you incorporate some of these things into your Thanksgiving meal and into your Christmas meal. And yeah, and I guess I will work on sort of compiling all of these resources and all of these ideas together so that it's easier to do. And there have been some really amazing carnivore chefs out there who have come up with these amazing ideas, and no need to reinvent the wheel. Just bring their stuff forward. So I will, I'll try to do that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So thanks a lot, Audra. I really appreciate your coming on and doing this and giving us this fantastic presentation.
I really appreciate you having me. Like, I am a food nerd, and so this is great to share. And I can't wait to hear the feedback and to hear other people what they're doing, what they're making. The whole barbecue Christmas thing has my mind going. Like, whoa, so I can't wait. So this is great.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. So I will see you next week. We have an exciting, um, yeah, we have an exciting presentation interview next. Oh, I think this one is with our van lifer. And so if any of you are interested in van
Oh,
life and
cool.
how you might mix that with carnivore as a solo female black woman, this is your jam. So make sure you're
Wow.
here next Tuesday. Yeah. All right, everyone. Have a great one, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.